And we need to set the remote port. And it will tell you what other attributes are required. So you need to make sure you have a value in the current setting there. This is going to be using built-in dictionary files. So now I'm going to go ahead and say run this tool. And hopefully with a bit of luck, I was able to crack a password. Now, it may not have been a privileged account, but at least I have some form of credentials. So now I've been able to get the basic Tomcat username and password. Next, and this is going to be my final step in the demonstration, is to show you how we're able to gain remote code executed access. So I'm going to go ahead and say I want to go back now and say search, but this time I'm going to be searching for an exploit. So I can actually break through that potential weakness. And right here, I could go and change my view, and you'll see it's giving you the matching module, name, disclosure date, the rank, does it support a check, so you can check if it's potentially weak. And so I'm going to select, now some of the exploits, you don't have to have authentication details, but it's going to make some of your attack vectors more reliable. So I'm going to go ahead and use the one that's ranked as excellent, and it's going to be line item 5. So I'm going to say use 5. And I'll just increase my size so you can see my screen better. And same as I did before, find out what this exploit will do. It's giving you the interaction. So once you've got the knowledge you need, we've got the credentials, we need to go and set those attributes. So we'll use options. So you can see I'm going to go and set the HTTP password, which was just Tomcat. Then I'm going to go and set the HTTP username, which was also just Tomcat. And then I'm going to go and set the remote host. Now you could set this at a global level, so you don't have to keep typing that in. And then set your remote port. And that's it. So when we go and check the options again, I'm not going to get into the custom payloads at this point. Your exploit is known as like your door opener. So now I've got all my details. I can go ahead to my last command where I'm going to exploit that service. Now I've got to interpret a session, but I'm not full privileged. So when I say what is my user ID, get UID, I'm just running as a lower privilege account. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to background this initial remote code executed session, and I'm now going to go ahead and I'm going to use a local exploit. So I'm going to say use an exploit. So the more you become familiar, the more you will be able to use the framework more efficiently. So I'm going to say use an exploit for Linux, and I'm going to tab, so I know I'm going down the right path. And your privilege escalation exploits are normally in the local folder. I'm going to use the UDEV netlink, and same as before, this is going to tell you that all you need to do is set the session number that we already have from an underprivileged session. So sessions-L, I have session ID 1, so I can set the session to 1, and the final is to exploit that system, and now you will see that I have privileged access. So I'm running as root. That will then allow me to go and show you the contents of my Linux shadow file, which is a hash value of all of your accounts. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a really straightforward demonstration showing you some of the key stages of gaining access, escalating privileges, and being able to execute applications like show the contents of the shadow file, There's a lot of top exploits right now from the US CISA.gov website. I would encourage you to keep up to date with some of these different sites. And yes, you could just see the basic IT skills that we were talking about. I wanted to make this as interactive as possible. That, ladies and gentlemen, is, I think, exactly on time. We will have only time for about 5 minutes of Q&A questions. So let's see if we've got any questions.
रोमियो, सुनना, मेरी एक नई फ्रेंड बनी है। अच्छा, नई लड़की से दोस्ती? हाँ, और उसे मैंने घर पे बुलाया है। तभी मैं सोचूं तो इतना स्मार्ट बन के घर में कैसे बैठा है? Thank you.
All right, I'm just opening up the questions, folks, and let's see. I'm a beginner in cybersecurity in university. Yeah, there's a lot of questions there. I'm just going to try and see which ones are not answered. Can you explain some of the difficult words? Because my English is not very well. That I would recommend, please, to go and maybe watch some of the demonstrations online or to read some more of the books. As I showed you, when we look at computers, the good news is they speak the simple language of zeros and one. I'm going to skip some of the crazy questions like how to hack Brainwave University server. How can you sign up to CyberQ? I would recommend please contacting the wonderful folks at EC Council. Let's see any other. Yes, this session has been recorded. So you will be given access, I think, to an email that you signed up where you can go and watch that. What root? Root is your main administrator account. So on a Linux machine, that is like the king of the castle. And then how to secure your computer. That, folks, you're going to want to come to perhaps a different webinar for that. This webinar was all about how you break into your computer system. And we really wanted to give you a little bit more of a technical insight so you can actually see what to expect. And I'm not seeing any other questions there to answer. I would humbly and respectfully ask, if you didn't get your questions answered, to please follow up with the folks at EC Council. And as usual, it's such an honor and a pleasure to always be presenting folks to the industry. I always want to give back to the industry. You're welcome to obviously connect with us offline. We do deliver some of the official EC Council programs through EC Council themselves. So I'm one of the master trainers, as there's quite a few. And when we look at teaching you folks, we focus on a lot of the input, the books, the labs, the experiences, the challenges, all of those wonderful elements. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for an amazing hour session with you all. Hopefully you all found that valuable, and I look forward to some of the future webinars. All the best. Stay safe.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you so much, folks. Was there anything else you people at EC Council wanted to mention?
No, Wayne. Thanks for the great session. I thank all the participants who joined today's session, and we will share the recording of the session after it's concluded. Thank you.